In today's class, we are about to see the poem A Legend of the Northland. What's a legend at first? A legend is a traditional story which is not proved as true. So, a story which is passed from one generation to another generation orally, but which doesn't have any proof that the story has happened in reality. This poem narrates the legend of an old lady who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. So, this poem is going to say about the legend of an old lady. Actually, that old lady made Saint Peter angry. Who is the Saint Peter? Saint Peter is popularly known as Simon Peter, and he is one of the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. And because of the greediness of the lady, she angered Saint Peter. Greed is actually excessive desire for money, wealth, power, or food. Come, let's move into the poem. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. Northland is the countries or areas nearby North Pole. There, especially in winter season, the daytime is much less and the night time seems to be so long. They refers to the people who lives there. So the people when they sleep at night, in the middle of the night itself when they wake up, they could sense that still it is night. So night seems to be much long. They couldn't sleep continuously. Through here refers to the continuous non-stop sleep. They couldn't get a continuous sleep throughout the night. When they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bear's cubs in their funny furry clothes. Harness is actually a set of straps or fittings by which horse or some other animals fasten to the cart. Swift is fast moving. Reindeer actually it's an animal in northern part of the world, especially in North America, Northern Europe. Sledge, you know very well, a vehicle which is used to carry goods or which is pulled especially in snow. When it snows, the people use the reindeer to pull the sledges as it is a fast moving animal. To withstand the cold, children would be given fur clothes. So, children they look funnily like bear's cub in their fur clothes. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it is true. And yet, you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So, the poet is saying they actually refers to the people in Northland, them here refers to the children. So, people, elder people, they are saying to the little children a curious, interesting story. And the poet said, if the poet says the same story to us, we won't believe the story is true. Even though the poet wants to tell the story to us because it would give a moral lesson for us. So, the poet is about to narrate the same story to us in this poem. Once, when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did. Saint Peter, when he was living in the world below. So, world below here refers to the world in which we are living. And he was walking all around and he was preaching. He came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth while a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. While he was on his way of preaching, he met a lady. He came to a cottage and there he met a lady. She was here set as a little woman. So actually, she was not small, she was mean by her heart. So only she was referred as little woman. And at that particular moment, she was baking cakes on the hearth. Hearth is actually bottommost part of the fireplace, and the lady was baking cakes on the hearth. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. And Saint Peter felt as if he was going to faint and fell down because of fasting. And the day was over. When he came to that little woman's house, it was almost evening. So the complete day was about to over. He, Saint Peter, asked that lady for a piece of cake, a single piece of cake. She asked store of cakes. Store here doesn't refer to the little store, a lot of cakes. From that lot of cakes, Saint Peter asked for a single one. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. When the lady started to prepare cake, especially for Saint Peter, she made a very little small cake. When she set it for baking, she was looking at the cake and she thought that it seemed to be too large to give away. As a free of cost to give away, it was too large. Therefore, she needed another and still a smaller one, but it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. So again, she needed some more dough and she started to bake one more fresh cake for Saint Peter. And when she turned the cake the other side for baking, she felt that the second one is also as large as the first one. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer. But she couldn't part with that. Then again she took some more little amount of dough and she rolled it flat and almost it looked like wafer biscuit, you might have known very well, isn't it? So it was as thin as wafer. But even though she couldn't give away that flat wafer cake also to Saint Peter, for she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. The lady feels that when she was eating those cakes, okay, it looked too small for her. But when she had set her mind to give to others, that seems to be too large for her. So she didn't give even a single piece of cake to Saint Peter. She put everything on the shelf. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. Now Saint Peter became much angry because the lady was not even ready to give a single piece of cake. Already she had a lot of cakes. She didn't give even a single from that. And especially for Saint Peter, she started to make small and smaller cakes. That also she doesn't have any desire to give to Saint Peter. So now Saint Peter became much angry because he was hungry. He was hungry to the extent that he would faint and fell down. And now that woman, she was enough to provoke. Provoke means arouse anger, stimulate anger. Okay. She was enough to stimulate anger for that particular saint. And he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter, and fire to keep you warm. So, in anger, Saint Peter started to say, the lady is too selfish. Okay, now he was saying to the Lady, you're too selfish to dwell in the human form, to live in the human form. You're not at all fit for. You're so selfish. The lady got everything: food, shelter, and good fire to keep her warm. She had got everything, but she was not ready to share those things with others. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard, dry wood. So now Saint Peter had given a spell, just like a curse for that particular lady. Thereafter, the lady, just like birds, she had to search and find her own food. The birds, it had to search its food throughout the forest, isn't it? At times, it won't get food so easily. So it had to go to different places and it had to search for food. So that would be boring and boring and boring, because it would take the complete day. Finding out food, at time it may take the complete day, and they would get only scanty food, little amount of food. So Saint Peter set the curse that thereafter the lady also should build her own house, just like the birds do, and she had to search the food all day, and that too she would get much small amount of food, just like birds. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. Immediately, Saint Peter's spell started to work out. When he just said his words, immediately the lady went through the chimney. She didn't speak even a single word. She didn't try to prove her right. She had no time to speak even a single word. Out of the chimney, from the top of the chimney, a woodpecker flew out. So the lady changed to a woodpecker. A woodpecker flew. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same. But all the rest of her clothes were burned, black as a coal in the flame. The lady, when she was a woman, she had a scarlet, a red color cap on her head. That cap remained as it is, as if the red color cap on woodpecker's head. And the remaining part of her body, clothes, everything, it was burnt because of the flame. It was burnt, and the body, it became black in color, as if like a coal. It was black in color, and every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. Now the poet says, it's a very common sight to see a woodpecker. So even a schoolboy would have seen her in the wood, in the forest, where the lady was living in the trees. Actually, now she was not a lady, she was a woodpecker, isn't it? The woodpecker lives in the trees till this very day. So till now, at present, the woodpecker was living in the forest, and it was doing the boring work of searching for food, and it was pecking at trees to make its home. The poem is written by Folk Carey. A ballad is a song narrating a story in short stanzas. Ballads are a part of folk culture or popular culture and are passed on orally from one generation to the next. A Legend of Northland is a ballad. So we have a lot of genres and poem. Among that, A Legend of Northland is a ballad. Here itself they have given what's a ballad. A ballad is a song narrating a story in short stanzas. So here a story is narrated as if like a song. It is given in a poem, isn't it? So it is narrated as a song in short stanzas. Each and every stanzas has only 4 lines. So here a story is narrated in short stanzas, and it is a popular folk culture they have given. So in villages and in other rural areas, like these ballads are sung by elders to younger generation people, so that this story is passed on from one generation to another generation orally. So it didn't have any written proof before a lot of years. Let's move into poetic devices. At first, we can see the rhyme scheme of this poem. This poem follows the rhyme scheme AB, CB. That means the last word of second line and fourth line of each and every stanza rhymes. The first and third line, it doesn't rhyme with each other. So it follows the rhyme scheme AB, CB. You can see here few, through, snows, clothes, through, you, below, no, earth, hearth, then one. So always second and fourth line rhymes with each other. In the first line of the first stanza, away, away in the northland, the word away is repeated twice. So repetition is used here. The figure of speech used here is repetition. In the third and fourth line, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. Here, enjopment is used. Enjopment is continuation of a sentence to next lines or else in a stanza, that is only enjopment. Here, without any pause, a single sentence is given in 2 lines, isn't it? So this is only enjopment. Alliteration is used in the last line of the first stanza. Alliteration is nothing but repetition of consonant sounds in a line. That, they, them, through. So here only alliteration is used. The sound is repeated again and again. That, they, them, through. In the second stanza, in third line, and the children look like burst cups. Here, simile is used. Simile is comparison of one thing with another thing with words such as or like. Look like burst cups. So here, simile is used. In second stanzas also, alliteration is used in 3 different lines. In first line, they, the. So here the sound is repeated. In third line, look like, la sound is repeated. In fourth line, funny, furry, first sound is repeated. So these are all alliterations. In third stanza, alliteration is again used. They, them, the sound. In third line, yet, you, a sound. Learn a lesson, learn, la, lesson, la. Then fourth line, tell, tale, to, t sound is repeated. And in last 2 lines of third stanza, again enjopment is used. And yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So without any pause, the sentence is repeated to the next line. From third line, it is continued to fourth line too. In ninth stanza, the stanza which starts with, then she took a tiny scrap of tow. In that second line, rolled and rolled. Repetition is used. And in third line, thin as a wafer. Simile is used. Here the comparing word as is given. So simile is used. In 13th stanza, the stanza which starts with now you shall build as the birds do. In that third line, boring and boring and boring, repetition is used. In last before stanza, black as a coal in the flame, simile is used. And in the last stanza, last line, boring and boring, repetition is used.